being involved with your mother's designs and modeling for her, is that a great connection for you to your culture? Does it add, to that connection?
Yeah, it's really helped me grow into, like, my own voice and becoming the, person that, uh, that my mom can hopefully be proud of, because I feel like, a lot of times we're, like, we get, like, oppressed by, society and how things, are going currently too in, like, politics,
My goodness.
and it feels like, this is an opportunity to take a stand and decolonize, like, that whole part of where you kind of feel, like, intimidated to speak, but this is, like, how I speak out too, and there's different ways to be an activist, and it's not always, finite for everyone.
That's so beautiful. I think that's such an important part of fashion too. Our moods of the day as the world changes. What are you feeling? Some days just want to wear glam, but not often anymore. It used to be a lot more of that. To express ourselves. And we have many selves, and you're such a living example of that. My goodness, all the degrees and then pre-med now and then doing the modeling. It's really a multiple expression of existence. And we sorely need to hold on to that. So that's one of the things I love about fashion too, is that ability to self-express. And you were talking earlier about how when you have a client who asks you for clothing, you tune into that.
Yeah, like when I'm creating something, it just kind of flows. Like I'll get an idea and then I'll just run with it, and it just kind of flows from me. And when someone asks me specifically to make something for them, I kind of just like fill out their aura. And even if it's in a picture that they send me, or I see them on Facebook or whatever, I kind of just like fill it out, and then I create something for them, and they oh, and I'm grateful that they always love it because it was made for them with their vibe in it, their energy in it. And just like to throw something else in. She's also my publicist. She's behind the scenes. She does everything. So wonder. Let me give her more credit. And as as a, as an indigenous designer, I know fashion per se is not like the biggest, most important um, problem on the table, right?
Right.
But here's my take. We are finally, as indigenous people, coming onto the stage, the world stage. We are being recognized. We should have been all along, okay? But we're finally being recognized in all aspects. We're being noticed. I mean, a lot of people still thought that indigenous people were extinct. I mean, anyway, we're here.
That explains the election.
Right? And we're stepping onto the world stage. We're powerful with our powerful designs and our powerful being. We are a strong people, and for us to finally have that opportunity, and it wasn't given to us. We've been fighting tooth and nail for this. So now we're in Paris, we're in Italy, we're everywhere. The Oscars, the Oscars. Yes, exactly. We're all over the place, and this is so critical. This is a critical point in our own lives, in our own well-being, in our own people, for us to finally be able to come out with everybody else and not have the door shut in our faces. So it's really more than just fashion. It's a huge movement. It's a movement.
It's a movement, and the arts are kind of leading the way.
Yes.
And First Peoples Festival, the weekend is going to be incredible. It's the second year. I wandered in last year and was so blown away by the storytelling, the dance. We have a full powwow. Sean Sherman, who's the sous chef, who has several books, and his restaurant and his food is about decolonizing the food system. So the earth needs this movement so deeply. And for me, as a non-Indigenous person, everywhere I've ever lived, even when I lived in Massachusetts, I could feel the people that lived for centuries on the land before we came. And I think it's important wherever you go to recognize that. Colorado and the Four Corners area has such a deep rooter. So everybody benefits from this rising up of Indigenous culture.
That's exactly right.
You're talking about being an ally in this movement as well. It's so important. And we, as non-Indigenous people on our committee, is led by Indigenous people of the area we live in. So could you speak a little bit to this idea of wearing Indigenous clothing and how to respectfully do that if you're not?
Let me let my daughter, Babby, sorry, say something about it first.
I would just say that it depends on like who you're working with and how they feel about the topic. I think respecting everyone's opinion, because we can't speak for everyone, because we're all different nations and we all have different gesture and we all have different you say purposes on this planet,
Yes.
and in this trick space. So as long as you're respecting and communicating with the individuals that you're working with and knowing how they feel personally about, allies and what their boundaries are, I think that is where you're gonna find the most success and find the most like open-heartedness, is knowing that you're making an effort and you're like out here doing your education yourself, and then also getting a little education from others by incorporating their opinions and what they feel is important to them as well.
I love that. Thank you so much. And perhaps like talking about the difference between wearing a beautiful piece of fashion like this and regalia. Now, that's not something I'm going to wear.
That's exactly what I was gonna mention. Like, I think a lot of current indigenous designers are leaning to contemporary wear that anybody can wear. Like, you wear it with respect. Like Pendleton, for example. There's Pendleton everywhere, and everybody wears Pendleton, but they're native designs, right? So that's a beautiful thing. So that's how I feel like, yeah, as long as you're not wearing our regalia, our traditional, people are just out there wearing that, for whatever reason. But pieces like this, like that can be worn by anyone. They have that touch of the native, my indigenous culture in it, but it also can be worn at a ball and a party in Mandela. Yeah.
Kathy, you told me that you've been designing for almost a decade now.
Yes.
Can you tell me some of the changes you've seen in that time with fashion design for Indigenous people in particular?
Well, I started out just with our traditional items, but as it grew for me personally, I started to incorporate the contemporary and the traditional, like I said. But as far as like in general, I've seen it just grow exponentially. It has been such an amazing thing to watch and be part of. Like, you have these designers that they're incredible. Everyone is so incredible. And not just the design of the clothing, but you've got the jewelry makers that just are, it's just phenomenal. And it's a beautiful thing to watch, this growth and this expansion of our personal traditional wear mixed with the contemporary, and people out there wearing it, just different people, and it's a beautiful thing, and I really do love being part of it.
And you are in the flow of it. It's so great. All of us are, and yeah, it's in our ways. Yeah, as you mentioned, everyone's journey is theirs, and that's so important that not everybody tries to be everything to everyone. I think this is something that in Western society we did a little bit too much of. You cannot be an expert in everything. So it's so great, to be a model, because I don't know how to sew. I don't know how to put a bobbin in or do any of. Do you sew at all?
Just a little bit. I usually make like quilts, but he's the one that makes these beautiful clothes, and
Yes.
I don't think I have the patience for it.
You're a little busy, right? Sure. Well, I thank you so much for being a part of this interview. And then the weekend we're going to have is going to be so special. There, please come join us in Estes Park for the fashion show, for the festival. It's going to be something very special. So I hope to see you all in Rocky Mountain National Park up in Estes Park, Colorado this January.
May I interject?
Yes, please.
I want to thank Sandy personally because she is an amazing ally. She's a beautiful human being. And I have had so much pleasure getting to know her and now working with her. I want to thank you from me and from my little corner of the world.
Oh, you're so welcome. I'm the lucky one, man. I'm so thrilled to be a part of that. All love.